them all what I'm made up. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into something pretty significant that happened yesterday, Friday, May 9th.
That's right. We're looking at the arrest of Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. It happened during a protest right at an ICE detention center in New Jersey.
And our main source here is a detailed report from The Guardian. We'll be digging into that.
Exactly. That's the plan. Use their reporting to really understand what went down.
Yeah, we want to get past the headlines, pull out the key facts from the article, try to piece together the timeline, and get a sense of the bigger picture, the context around it all.
And the immediate fallout, too. What happened right after the arrest.
Right. So by the end, you should have a much clearer picture of this whole situation. Okay, so let's start with the arrest itself. What actually happened there?
Well, according to The Guardian's reporting, the official reason given was alleged trespassing at the ICE center.
Trespassing, okay.
Yeah. And this was confirmed by Alina Habba, who's the acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey. She stated he'd apparently ignored several warnings from Homeland Security investigations agents to leave the area.
Warnings. Okay.
And she made that statement, no one is above the law, kind of setting the official tone.
But then Mayor Baraka, after he was released, which was pretty quick, actually, just a few hours later, maybe around 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, fairly quick turnaround.
He came out and told his supporters, basically, I didn't do anything wrong. So straight away, you've got these two very different takes on what happened legally.
Absolutely. A direct conflict in narratives right from the start.
And the timeline, like you said, afternoon arrest, evening release.
Yeah.
It suggests maybe a specific type of processing, but still, being arrested is significant.
Definitely. Now, there are also witnesses. The Guardian mentions Viri Martinez from the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice.
Ah, okay. What did they see?
Well, she described a pretty tense scene. Talked about a heated argument, yelling, some pushing, even said an organizer was reportedly thrown to the ground.
Thrown down. Wow.
Yeah, before Baraka himself was handcuffed and then put into an unmarked car. So it sounds like things got pretty physical, or at least very confrontational.
And the handcuff part seems confirmed.
Yes, the New Jersey Globe actually published a photo showing him in handcuffs. They apparently spoke to observers there at Delaney Hall, who also mentioned a scuffle.
A scuffle. Okay, so maybe more than just words exchanged.
Seems likely, though the exact details of the physical interaction might still be a bit unclear. But handcuffs, yes. Scuffle, reported.
Okay, so that's the arrest itself. But why was he even there protesting? Let's get into the context. This wasn't just out of the blue, was it?
No, not at all. Mayor Baraka has been very vocal about opposing the opening of this specific detention center. It's a big one, like 1,000 beds.
And his opposition was based on?
Primarily building permit issues, according to the report. He's argued the proper local permits weren't secured.
That's a common point of friction, local permits versus federal projects.
Exactly. It's an established stance he's taken on this facility.
And he wasn't alone there, right? There were other officials.
That's a key point. Several Democratic Congress members from New Jersey were also present. Bonnie Watson-Coleman, LaMonica McIver, and Rob Menendez.
Congress members on site. That definitely raises the profile of the event.
Hugely. And their stated reason for being there was congressional oversight. They wanted to get inside, assess the condition.
Oversight, right. Checking up on a federal facility.
Yeah. Congresswoman Coleman specifically mentioned worries based on, stories about other ICE facilities. She said, we're exercising our oversight authority to see for ourselves.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But it sounds like their concerns went beyond just the conditions inside.
It does. They've accused the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, of basically pushing ahead with reopening Delaney Hall in violation of local ordinances and, like the mayor said, without the necessary permits. That's a direct challenge to federal authority on legal grounds.
So local rules versus federal action. And this facility itself, any significance there?
Yeah, The Guardian points out it's the largest ICE detention center in the whole northeastern U.S.
The largest.
And significantly, it's the first big one to open its doors since President Trump's second term began back in January.
Interesting timing. That could be seen politically, couldn't it?
It certainly adds another layer, maybe signaling shifts in immigration policy enforcement.
And Congresswoman Coleman, she had some strong words quoted in the article.
She really did. She said, ICE is out of control. ICE thinks it can intimidate all of us, and it cannot intimidate any of us. Pretty forceful language.
Definitely sounds like it, framing it as a major issue.
Yeah, she even added, and we the people will make sure that this administration adheres to the rules that separate us from dictatorships. It connects the specific incident to much broader principles.
And wasn't there also a claim about physical contact involving the Congress members?
Yes, that's another serious point. Congressman Menendez alleged that ICE agents actually put their hands on Representatives Coleman and McIver.
Put their hands on them, as in physically.
That's the allegation reported, yeah. Suggesting, a lack of restraint or perhaps an escalation during their interaction with the agents.
Okay, wow. So let's shift to the reactions right after the arrest. What happened then?
Well, you had Mayor Baraka's wife, Linda Baraka, speaking out very strongly.
Right, I saw that.
She accused the federal government of targeting her husband specifically, and even said they prevented her from seeing him initially after the arrest.
Adds a very personal element to the whole thing, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And outside the facility, you had protesters gathering pretty quickly.
Chanting for his release.
Exactly. Chants of, let the mayor go. So, immediate public support and attention.
The Guardian also mentioned video footage. What did that show?
Yeah, the video apparently captures a key exchange. A federal official tells Mayor Baraka he can't join the tour because, well, he's not a member of Congress.
Okay, that makes procedural sense, maybe.
But Baraka's response, reportedly, was to point out he wasn't actually on their property at that moment. He said something like, you can't arrest me on the street.
Ah, so the location of the arrest becomes crucial. Was he on public ground or?
According to the description of the video, yes. He was apparently on the public side of the gate when ICE agents, some reportedly with face coverings, moved in and arrested him.
While people were shouting shame.
Exactly. So the video seems to raise questions about the justification, or at least the location, of the trespassing arrest itself.
And there was another report from Axios, right?
Yeah.
About the Congress members.
Yes. Citing Coleman's office, it added another twist. They reported that the representatives were actually initially let into the facility.
Oh, really? Inside?
Yeah, apparently after explaining their legal oversight authority, there was even video attached showing them inside, talking to staff.
But then
Later, according to that same report, they themselves were threatened with arrest for trespass.
Threatened with arrest? After being let in? That sounds confusing.
It suggests a real escalation, or at least some conflicting signals happening on the ground, both inside and outside the facility gates.
And just to round out the context, Mayor Baraka has spoken out on these issues before, hasn't he?
He has. The Guardian reminds us he was critical of Trump's immigration policies back in January.
After that ICE raid in Newark.
That's the one. He claimed it was done without a warrant. So this protest, the stance, it fits into a pattern of him engaging directly on federal immigration enforcement in his city. It's not entirely new territory for him.
Okay, so let's try to pull this together. We have the mayor of Newark arrested at an ICE protest. The official charge is trespassing.
Right, but it happens while he's protesting a facility he already opposed over permit issues.
And he's there alongside members of Congress who are trying to conduct oversight.
And who themselves report being blocked, potentially manhandled, and even threatened with arrest.
We've got conflicting accounts, video evidence showing the arrest on public property, strong reactions from family and protesters. It's quite a complex picture.
Definitely a lot of moving parts and differing perspectives.
So thinking about everything we've just unpacked from the Guardian's report, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does this whole incident really tell us about the friction points between federal immigration enforcement, local city government, and the oversight role of elected officials, especially right now?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? These inherent tensions, how they play out on the ground, and maybe what could this mean for similar situations down the road? How might future conflicts between federal actions and local opposition unfold? Something to think about.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.